Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Cynnnical, and today for you guys I have another Kingdom Hearts 3 discussion video. But quickly, before we jump straight into the topic, I want to introduce a guest on my channel, VoltEditzz, the one, the only, the electric hype of hypeness. Volt here is guest starring on my channel today to talk with me about Xehanorts Keyblade. We thought that we could go into a few interesting points that perhaps some of you guys probably didn't know. Xehanorts Keyblade isn't really all that talked about. It's got a lot of history to it and stuff. Also, though, quickly, I just want to say me and Volt actually did a collaboration video talking upon Cabletown and the new concept that came out about that. So be sure to go check that video out once you guys have finished watching this video. His channel link will be in the description below. But anyway, Volt, go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
What's going on, guys? This is VoltEditzz, and I'm really excited to be here on Cynnical's channel today to discuss a really exciting topic with you guys, so hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this video. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be talking about is the ability to transfer heart, or a heart. Now, Xehanorts Keyblade, as we know, has a very special or unique ability that I haven't really seen from any other ability, or any other Keyblade in the game, I apologize. As you know, in the Keyblade Graveyard, he would transfer his heart into Terra. And we saw that, like, literally right in front of our eyes as he unlocked his own heart and it transferred it into Terra. But that was him, you know, letting his heart set free, or setting his heart free and putting it inside of Terra and merging his heart with Terra. But we also see in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance him actually take a piece of his heart and have it go towards Sora, almost like he was trying to make it a part of Sora's heart. And I guess that's how he makes other people versions of Xehanort, and it's kind of a unique ability. We've never seen this from another Keyblade before. We've seen the Keyblade of Heart in Kingdom Hearts 1, which was able to unlock people's hearts. Other than that, we've never really seen a unique Keyblade that could transfer a piece of a heart or someone else's heart to another. And I think that's a very special or interesting topic that I think Square really needs to touch upon in Kingdom Hearts 3. What do you think about this, Jared?
So yeah, like you were mentioning, from what we've seen, no other Keyblade has the ability to do this other than something similar to it, which was the Keyblade that, of course, returns that we saw Sora do a similar thing that Xehanort did in Birth by Sleep, which of course he aimed the teeth of the Keyblade at its heart, and it of course releases the heart. And this is obviously the way or the method that Xehanort splits himself into other people's bodies. So it's obviously the way that how he made the multiple versions of himself. When we're talking about sort of like Zigbar as well as Xehanort and stuff like that. And of course his ambitions to make Sora a vessel, he also did take a piece of his heart and he was trying to make Sora one of his vessels as well. How this could possibly play out in Kingdom Hearts 3 though is quite interesting. Hopefully it does get further explained as to perhaps why this particular Keyblade has the ability to do this. And yeah. So now we're going to segue into the possible connection to the foretellers. So I've actually done a theory video talking about this, and there's this really sort of interesting concept around Xehanorts Keyblade, talking about how it could possibly be related to the foretellers. Now, if we actually look at the foretellers Keyblade, you guys will see that on each of the foretellers Keyblade, sort of around the hilt, there's actually an animal's sort of, I suppose you could say, skull or like face or whatever. And as well as that, each of the foretellers Keyblades also have an Eye of Darkness. Now the Eye of Darkness is to represent some sort of connection or sort of, yeah, like a connection to the darkness. So this is a trait that seems to be within each one of the foretellers Keyblades, and it's no exception with Xehanorts Keyblade. If we look at Xehanorts Keyblade, by the hilt of his Keyblade, he's actually got a goat head or a goat skull, which is another animal similar to what the other foretellers have. As well as that, he also has the Eye of Darkness on his Keyblade as well as on his keychain. So is it possible that Xehanort perhaps is a Keyblade, you know, a foreteller, or is his Keyblade being passed down from an older foreteller that perhaps got extinguished sometime before the events of Key? Will that stuff get explained in Key? What do you think about this, Volt?
I think it's a very good point that Xehanorts Keyblade really has a very close resemblance, almost exactly resembles the foretellers Keyblade, having an animal on the hilt of the Keyblade, as well as having a Eye of Darkness. Not only does he have an Eye of Darkness directly on the Keyblade, but it's also on the keychain. So I think that symbolizes his Keyblade being one of pure darkness, or one of just a dark Keyblade. And just the fact that Xehanort looks like a goat, but I think it's interesting to the fact that Xehanorts Keyblade does resemble the foretellers Keyblade, and I think that shows a big connection to Kingdom Hearts Key. And I kind of wonder if when Square Enix was developing Birth by Sleep, if they had the idea of Xehanort's Keyblade being an old one, because obviously his Keyblades always look like that. So did they ever have Kingdom Hearts Key in mind? I don't know. That's an interesting question. But segueing to the next thing, we're going to be talking about the Keyblade is a will that is passed on. As revealed in the recoded secret movie, young Xehanort says that the Keyblade is a will that is passed on, and that he himself has not obtained the Keyblade yet. So obviously, this Keyblade is passed on from a master. And as we know in the D23, not the D23 trailer, but the E3 trailer that was shown at the end of 2.5, the trailer of 2.5, there is a little trailer of two people talking. Those two people we've already pretty much confirmed. One of them is young Xehanort, and the other one we believe is young Ericus. And obviously, young Xehanort is talking about the Lost Masters, which is a reference to Kingdom Hearts Key, as we all believe. Maybe even possibly the foretellers. But I do believe that since that is young Xehanort, he hasn't obtained the Keyblade yet, and they do go in there talking about his master and Ericus's master. So I do think it's quite possible that Xehanort's Keyblade, the will that is passed on, is passed down from his master, or his and Ericus's master. And I feel like if it's a will that's passed on, then the Keyblade is a will of its own. It's it's ambitions. The Keyblade doesn't have ambitions of its own, but it's whoever was the first ever wielder of this Keyblade, their ambitions or their will was passed down through generations and generations of Keyblade wielders, making this one of the oldest Keyblades in existence. But the real question is that I've always wondered is it older than the X-Blade? I would say no, because the X-Blade is the original Keyblade, but then what kind of connection does this have to Kingdom Hearts? The X-Blade is supposedly... Maybe the X-Blade is a Keyblade of light that connects directly to Kingdom Hearts, but it could be quite possible that Xehanort's Keyblade also connects to Kingdom Hearts, but as the Keyblade of darkness connecting to it. Or maybe the X-Blade is just the only one that connects to Kingdom Hearts, and it shares both the light and the darkness inside of it. But I do think it's a great thing that Square Enix did by connecting this almost to the foretellers and making it a will that's passed on. So what do you think about this, Cynnnical?
So yeah, when we got that information in 2.5 talking about how it is a will passed down, that obviously sort of gives us some sort of wider, I suppose you could say, viewpoints on the fact that, you know, there were sort of other characters and other people who previously wielded that Keyblade. And I mean, this right there links directly to the whole foreteller thing. Is it possible that one of the foretellers became, you know, they became corrupt, and perhaps they, you know, got kicked out of being up in the ranks of a foreteller? You know, is this event that we're going to see in Key, which is very, very interesting. And like you mentioned, you know, Master Xehanort's Keyblade has always looked like that since, I believe, like Birth by Sleep or something. So have they always had these different lore aspects in mind? I really do feel as Kingdom Hearts Key progresses, we're definitely going to be learning more about the will itself and how it was passed down. And perhaps, you know, if there was a foreteller that became corrupt, are we going to learn more about that foreteller? But anyway, segueing on to the next point, as it sort of directly linked. With it being passed down, who was this passed down by? Now, perhaps it was Master Xehanort's as well as Ericus's master, but it is said to be one of the oldest Keyblades in existence, which means that even before Master Ericus's as well as Master Xehanort's master, there were masters beyond that. However, is it possible that the master of both Xehanort and Ericus actually gave Xehanort the Keyblade? Is, you know, was it his original Keyblade, and, you know, was this master here corrupt, and did he teach Xehanort, you know, sort of tested both of these, both Xehanort and Eriquis, sort of, you know, what one was more sort of had more ambitions towards the darkness, and sort of tested them upon that. Was that the reasoning behind, you know, sort of why Xehanort received the Keyblade and stuff? Which is a good sort of topic, because I believe that your next point is talking about the fact that why exactly does Xehanort receive the Keyblade and not Eriquis? So, Volt, if you'd like to segue into that.
Alright, well, first off, I would like to point out that maybe it's possible that one of the 5 foretellers wasn't corrupt, but maybe there was a 6th that was outlawed. And maybe he was the one that had the Keyblade. Maybe he was the darker one of the 5 foretellers who supposedly are supposed to be protecting the realm of light. So I think it's quite possible that maybe not one of them is corrupt, but maybe there's a 6th one that we don't know about that we will learn about in Kingdom Hearts 3. But yet again, as segueing to why Xehanort would receive this Keyblade and not Eriquis. Now I think that it's quite possible that while Eriquis and Xehanort were both young and still in training, that their master was probably the person that, you know, had the will passed on to him from maybe the 6th foreteller or whatever. His master probably passed it down to him, and his master, so forth. But I do think it's possible that Xehanort and Eriquis, his master, followed the one that had the darker ambitions, and he felt had more of the potential to make the will live on. And I do think that maybe a lot of Xehanort's ambitions aren't only his own, because this Keyblade is a will that's passed on, which is a big part of this video. And I do think that maybe a lot of Xehanort's ambitions are also the ambitions of maybe the 6th foreteller, or a corrupt foreteller, or anything. So I do think that Xehanort was the one that received this Keyblade, because his ambitions were maybe looking towards a more darker point of view, where in Birth by Sleep, you know, Xehanort even states that Eriquis is not corrupt by darkness, but instead corrupt by light. So maybe Eriquis was more the lighter one of their master's pupils, or maybe, and then obviously Xehanort was one of the darker ones, and that's why he received the Keyblade and not Eriquis. And this might have even been another reason why the rift between Eriquis and Xehanort came to be. Now, what do you think about the Cynnnical?
So yeah, like I was saying, you know, the whole sort of testing, the master sort of testing both pupils and stuff, and you're right, you know, as seen in Birth by Sleep, Eriquis is pointed out to be perhaps corrupted by light. So this might have been a reason, you know, perhaps Eriquis didn't really give in or succumb to the darkness while under the training of their master, and perhaps Xehanort took, you know, sort of interest more into the darkness, and sort of stuff like that. So perhaps, you know, like you mentioned, his master may have probably seen more potential in Xehanort in comparison to Eriquis. I mean, if we look at Eriquis, you know, we see that he is a very light-filled character. You look at his Keyblade armor, you look at his attacks and his moves, you know, he summons light spheres and all that sort of stuff. You can see that he is a very light-orientated, you know, character. So it is sort of obvious as to why Xehanort received the Keyblade from whoever gave it to him, which we're obviously theorizing that it is perhaps their master. So segueing into the next point, what is the true ambitions of the original Keyblade wielder? So of course we know that the will was passed down, but what exactly is the will, and what exactly is the ambitions of the very original first person who wielded this Keyblade? Now, currently right now we're speculating that it is a foreteller, whether it was someone who was corrupt or perhaps someone that was outlawed, but what was their true ambitions? So obviously we know that, you know, it was definitely something dark, because this will is obviously a will of darkness. The Keyblade itself is a Keyblade of darkness. It's got the Eye of Darkness on it. It has a sort of goat sigil on it, and of course we know that goats or goat skulls represent you know, sort of all the sort of satanic sort of stuff, which, you know, that in its own right sort of, you know, relates to darkness. So we can obviously tell that the ambitions is something that is, of course, filled with darkness. And, you know, I strongly believe that the true ambitions was, it's sort of clear as to what the ambitions is. It's to take over Kingdom Hearts, essentially. And, you know, we can see that from what Xehanort is trying to do. And perhaps he's probably one of the closest people out of the people who receive this Keyblade to come, you know, as close as he is to completing these true goals. But anyway, what do you think about these ambitions, the whole taking over Kingdom Hearts and the whole dark aspects?
I do believe that it has to do with Kingdom Hearts directly, but the question is does it have to directly do with taking over control of Kingdom Hearts, or does it have to do with what Xehanort has stated many times, and that is putting a balance of light and darkness in the world? I feel that after the world was taken over by darkness, and the only thing that existed or remained was the light, or the light in the heart of children, back after the first original Keyblade War. But I feel like the foretellers, as stated many times in Key before, that they are the ones that were supposed to be protecting the realm, as well as the other people that you play as, obviously throughout the story in Key. So I feel like they were trying to bring light completely back in the world. I feel that maybe they weren't trying to put a balance, where Xehanort, as he stated many times, wants to put a balance of light and darkness in the world. And he states many times as well that light cannot exist without darkness, and darkness without light. So I feel that maybe these foretellers wanted to make the world completely full of light, maybe, you know, just like Ericus, where Xehanort wants to put an equal balance. So I kind of feel that the ambition, or the what were the true ambitions of the original Keyblade wielder, was to put an equal balance of light and darkness in the world, helped by the power of Kingdom Hearts, which I feel like is the reason why Xehanort's true ambitions are to obtain Kingdom Hearts, not to control it and use it for things just to destroy the world, make it completely of darkness, but to put an equal balance. So maybe, is this such a bad thing? I don't know. I know other people have talked about this before, but segueing into the next thing. The Keyblade actually has no name, and should this name be revealed in Kingdom Hearts 3? I do, because I feel like a name kind of gives away your personality, or what you are. Like, my name makes up who I am, or Cynnical's name makes up who he is. I feel like a name really can explain a person's personality, or what a thing really exactly is. You know, Keyblade names, you know, Decisive Pumpkin is based off of, you know, Halloween Town. Obviously, pumpkin having to do with Halloween. So I feel like a name can really give us a little bit of a clue on what exactly this Keyblade is, or what the true purpose of the Keyblade is, or maybe just its unique abilities. Now, Cynnnical, what do you think about this?
So yeah, the Keyblade actually doesn't have a name. Perhaps that's something that you guys don't actually know, but if you actually Google Master Xehanorts Keyblade and you look at it on Wikipedia, I know the whole Wikipedia thing, it's not reliable and stuff, but like, legitimately there is currently no name for this Keyblade, which I find, it has no name, but it's wielded by no name. Isn't that his name, or no heart, whatever?
No heart, yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. But anyway, I do believe that it should actually be revealed in Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, he's been using, you know, Xehanort's been using this Keyblade for a very, very long time now. It's been around for a very long time now. But talking about how it could be revealed in Kingdom Hearts 3, if this is possibly related to the foretellers, of course we know that in Kingdom Hearts Key, the foretellers have a very, very big impact on the lore and stuff, and we're currently learning more about them in each sort of update patch that comes out. Perhaps that if we actually do learn about this possible and, you know, theorized 6th foreteller, or an outlaw foreteller, perhaps then we'll learn more about the Keyblade in one of the sort of future update patches for Kingdom Hearts Key. And of course, we do know that Key, as well as Kingdom Hearts 3, are being developed along this, around the same time, sort of, you know, at the exact same time, essentially.
Simultaneously.
So, yeah, so it means that, you know, they can add all these different aspects and lore points in, and stuff like that. So it all makes sense. But I do feel strongly that we're definitely going to learn the Keyblade's names, and I feel like if we do learn its name, then we're going to learn more about its origin and stuff like that, and like you said, more about essentially its personality, and just all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but anyway guys, that is it. This is sort of a longer discussion video, but it's really, really cool to just put some ideas on the table and sort of theorize and, you know, segue into different sort of concepts and stuff like that. But anyway guys, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. Smash that like button if you've enjoyed today's video. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and all that good jazz. Links in the description below. I want to thank VoltEditzz for guest starring today on my channel. His channel link is in the description below, so be sure to go by, hit that subscribe button, check him out, and all that good stuff. Anyway guys, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. This has been VoltEditzz.
Peace out, you guys.
Catch you later, guys.